Greetings and welcome to English 180 Introduction to Literature. I am Wanda Gwen Zimmerman and I am your instructor for this session of English 180. I've been teaching 180 for quite some time and I've taught it in seated classes and online classes. And I always enjoy teaching it because I am a literature teacher, which I guess literature teachers might not enjoy teaching some aspects of literature, but I enjoy every literature class I've ever taught. This is the first term that I have taught on Canvas and made the transition from Blackboard to Canvas, and I am quite certain as we progress through the semester, you are going to find mistakes, errors, glitches in modules or assignments or whatever, and when you do, I want you to gently let me know as soon as possible, because this is a learning experience for me as well as for you. I taught on Blackboard for many years, about a decade, so I was very familiar, very comfortable with that, and change is good. And so now we are on Canvas. It should be an experience. You will note that when I introduced myself, I said Wanda Gwen, and that means parentheses Zimmerman. And that is because my legal name is Wanda, but I prefer to be called Gwen. I think we should choose our names, and that is the name that I chose for myself. You can call me Gwen, you can call me Wanda, you can call me Ms. Zimmerman. I've had students call me Zim the Invader, Zimmy, Ms. Zim. As long as it's, within polite boundaries, there's a lot of leeway in how you can address me. Now, this course is a servo course, which means that we are not going to get into many works in depth. I know that the text is huge, and I wish that we could find a thinner text that didn't cost as much, but this is what we have. There is no way that we could cover even a quarter of that material in a 16-week course. But we're going to cover some of it and go through several different genres of literature. We're going to start with a short story, and we are going to read the novel Frankenstein, and we might get into a little bit more into depth in that than we will some of the other works. We are going to cover poetry, and we are going to read a couple of plays, an ancient play, Oedipus the King, and a modern play, Death of a Salesman by Arthur Miller. And again, as a survey course, we don't study any of these in really, truly depth, even though I said Frankenstein will be in more depth. We could read Frankenstein and take a whole 16 weeks just to cover it. So, what should you be able to glean from this course? The basics of literature, the symbolism, the elements of the short story that also apply to other genres, and basically how to analyze a piece of literature, whether it is a short story, whether it is elements within a novel, poetry, or drama. And so that is the emphasis. We will not be talking so much about the mechanics, even with poetry. If we had more time, we certainly would. But it is my feeling that it's more important to discuss the symbolism of the poetry rather than to discuss meter and iambic pentameter and so on and so on, even though I'm not saying those elements aren't important when examining upon. We will begin with the short story. And I made some changes last year, and I think next, after the short story, we're going to read Frankenstein, and then poetry, and then drama. See, that's what happens when you get old and you change things, you forget. And coming up on Canvas, it's a huge change, but change is good, right? So you're not nearly as old as I am, so you should be able to adapt a lot easier. There are 2 papers for this class, or you can do PowerPoint projects. And you know something? If I were you, I would do the projects. And I'm still going back and forth over whether I'm going to require a project and a paper or give you the option, but I will decide that as the term progresses, but pretty much early on. Otherwise, there'll be discussions and small assignments and so on. Canvas does not have some of the options that Blackboard did, but hey, we will make do. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that is important for me to say. It is important for you to read the syllabus and other course documents that I have posted, but otherwise, we can get going. The first module is open and ready for your perusal, and I want to ask you to start thinking about what is literature, because that is one of the first questions that we are going to discuss in the course. And as you might find, it's all subjective. Everything is seen from different perspectives. And what one person considers literature, another person might say, I don't know. So be musing on that question, and here we go.